Okay, so most need to know. The all-wheel drive Cherokee, the full-time all-wheel drive, this is a CV axle. It's missing a boot up there on that end. Don't know if you can see it or not. But it has a CV at both ends, an old double cardan, whatever you want to call it. Now on this, I'm fixing to build a long arm kit. And trying to decide if I want my bottom bar here or here. Here would be better because it would be the same length as a drive shaft. But that puts all that right there in the way of my math for a 3-link front, because he's got room on this side. This side he has exhaust. And it being a V8 Jeep, there's not much to do about that exhaust. Unless I just really got custom and tucked it up against transmission and stuff. Problem with that is you start looking at overheating. But I do have to cut this off right here to get a bar length, which is, this is going to be a one-off kit, but at the same time all 4 bars front and rear on the lower are going to be the exact same length. So if he bends one, tears one up, whatever on the trail, he can have 1 bar made and he's got 3 to compare it to. Completely collapsed, all 4 lower bars will be the exact same. For his wishbone upper, I'm going to kind of duplicate this. The problem is he has an aluminum 44. So in order to make it strong enough, I'm going to have to truss it. Can't weld to the aluminum. So in order to truss it, I'm going to capture these bolts up here. And then make my bracket that bolts to that. And then I'm also, I think I'm going to make it so that the truss comes up. And I haven't decided if I want to make that bracket bolt in and 1 solid bracket. I've got some 3/8 plate I can do it out of that I think will be strong enough. And then it'll just bolt over here. So if you ever need to take that bracket off, it's just 1 bracket. It'll have 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on that side, and then the bolts on the top. Also, a problem with these is this. I'm going to put hymens on it and I'm going to move them way up here. But in doing such, instead of turning the hymen sideways, let me get a hymen and I'll show you real quick. Instead of the hymen sideways, I'm going to turn it up and down and bend a bar that goes around and comes back. On the rear though, I'm really thinking about a double hymen on that end, which will require some cutting and notching of some tube, a little bit of plate work, a little dimple die work, but that'll put in 4 hymens. On the front, it's not as big of a deal, but the rear is the one that takes all the abuse, mostly. And then in the front, if he ever steps up from the low pinion Dana 30, I'd actually like to step up the hymens to a little bit bigger size on the upper link. These are 3/4 links right here. Amazon, $50 for right and left hand side. El Cheapo, but they work. The tube I'm going to be using is 1.5 inch, quarter wall DOM. A lot of people can say what they want, but if you ever put that in a bender and tried to bend it, and this is an overlander rig, so you got to understand. Yeah, he's going to have front and rear bumper. He's going to have a winch in the front. I'm going to build all that. He's going to have roof rack that I'm going to build. I'm basically trying to build everything for this. I'm also going to build this bar to go on top, this bar to go on top, on top here, and then I'm going to build a new bar here. Nothing will not be a 5/8 bolt anywhere on this Jeep. 5/8 bolt's plenty good enough, I believe, for an old Verlander rig. If he was rock bouncing, I'd say, yeah, let's step up to the 1 1/4 and use the misalignment spacers and go down to 3/4 inch bolt. That's what rock buggies are using. I don't see that big of a difference. I'm sorry, guys, you can flame me all you want. But my Jeep with Tim in it, that puts 700 plus pounds in the driver and passenger seat. And I've came down hard on the log on my lower bar on the passenger side, and it's still straight. So, a lot in store for the channel. I'm not good at videoing. I prefer to be doing the work. Also, these go bye-bye. No need for those. Sorry, nothing. These go bye-bye. You don't need those. If you have a problem with the front end, they just mask stuff. Which, he's got a good Jeep. This is a 2000 Jeep. It's a California Jeep. It was a grandma soccer mom. It's got a Dana 44 in the rear disc brakes. It's got, sadly, a Dana 30 low pinion in the front. But by looking at the axle, I'm thinking it could easily accommodate the anti-lock disc brakes. So, if anybody knows of a Dana 44 front that fits the WJs, please let me know in the comments, because that's all I need for this Jeep to make it 35 capable. It won't have lockers or anything like that in it for the time being. Won't have gears in it for the time being. We're still working on all the details, like the springs. Oh, also, if you'll know of a dual progressive spring that fits stock, let me know. Seems the front's not hard to come by, but the rear, the way the rear's shaped, top mount, lower mount, they seem to be harder to come by in a progressive spring, and with this thing being long arms, I don't want the springs to unload. I can build the bump stops to make them never fall out, but I'd rather have a spring that the shock is the limiting factor. We're also in talks. He likes my XJ. Y'all have not seen my XJ. You don't have a clue about my XJ. There was a guy that showed up at my house, checked out my XJ. There was some trash talk on Facebook. I'm sure he probably realized as soon as he looked at it, the XJ shocks are not in the stock location, and these probably won't be either. Tim wants me to do the same thing. The problem is with his lower brackets, the shock mount's in line, and it's close enough out here, it's not a big deal. On the XJ, they're inside, they're low-hanging fruit. But anyways, he's wanting me to do them up top. So, I'm probably going to move this bracket right here. Sorry, I'm not good taping. I'm going to move this bracket and either build one or reuse this bracket more straight up and down. And then I'm going to catch this bolt and move it forward. I might have to build a new bracket, but that'll put, see if I can get it in right here. If I build a new bracket and bring it straight up and down, that puts it outside of the coil spring area and more straight up and down. And in case y'all don't know, because I see guys doing it all the time, the more vertical a shock, the more sensitive the valving is, meaning it works better. You take a shock and you lay it over, the valving doesn't work as good. Hence, you look at any Baja rig, rock bouncer rig, they mount them a little bit back and stuff like that, but they do that for suspension travel. But you want the shock, in this instance, if you look at a rock bouncer or Baja vehicle, they're mounted this way, going into the the travel of the suspension, which makes a more of a progressive shock as this travels. This way is just a reactive. It's just there. So that's my 2 cents in not knowing nothing. I'm hoping as soon as his built, I seem to have went in the water one too many times on mine, and I've got a wheel bearing going bad, I think, on the driver's front. But his lift is occupying the shop. My time is on his. So guys that want to shout out that I don't crawl, as soon as his done, we'll have 2 of them capable. And we'll go play anywhere you guys want. Because my Jeep's name would probably be rough and obnoxious. That's how much I treat it like a stepchild. But there's already a stepchild Jeep, so rough and obnoxious would be my Jeep's name. So anyways, this is what I'm working on. Oh, I also took the running boards off already. He don't know it, but I'm going to slice these right here for the time being. The plan is he's wanting to do rock sliders out here. The WJ has gussets on the frame right here. Sorry guys, I'm new to this whole camera stuff. It's got a gusset right here. So when I cut the body out and put the 2x6 in there, we're going to do a Nerf bar on the outside of it like my XJ is. And then we're going to dimple die a piece of steel. Like if you ever seen a semi-truck, how it's got the circles that stick up, dimple dies, you know? I'm going to dimple die the top of it to get a step right there. And the XJ isn't near as curvy as this. So I might get pretty aggressive with the Nerf bars on this, because the XJ, they stick out a couple of inches past the body line. On this, I might actually do the 2x and come out a full 6 inches with the tubing to get what I want to get with a little bit of protection. And then again, the rear bumper, I've not seen anybody with a good rear bumper that I like, that Tim likes. That, yeah, he's already nitpicked my stuff. And my stuff was first time ever doing stuff like this. I'm a drag guy. The off-road stuff was not so professional. Well, now I got to make it professional. So all this stuff is going to be, like all the tube work's going to be TIG welded, stuff like that. But the rear bumper, we've not seen one. Again, low-hanging fruit. Trying to decide about the gas tank. He's got a spare tire well. Spare tire well could go away. I could move the gas tank up 6 inches and still give him a storage compartment inside. Haven't decided. Front bumper. I can't remember the guy's channel, but he's got a front bumper that we both liked. The only thing I'm worried about on it is this stock stuff right here. If you fill up in there, it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Don't know if you can see it or not. It's low-hanging fruit. I want to do away with that. But then also give him a little better approach angle. Because this thing has, I'm going to say with the stock bumper, has the approach angle of my Jeep almost. But again, the bumper on my Jeep, I actually cut the grill out around the winch so that it's functional. You can do everything with it, but it don't have so much fruit hanging out front. I've seen channels, I've seen what guys do, and seems to be a lot of non-function in some of their builds. Like, they don't think about this stuff. Granted, I've not built this yet. I've built an XJ. I can tell the non-function on those. On this, we're going to keep the stock front sway bar. I haven't decided. I'm probably going to redo this and put a hymen on this one and modify a bolt with a quick pin, and then come up here on just one side, maybe both, but push it up, push it over on another bolt, and I might even do it kind of like the XJ and make it so that it moves, because I could literally move this, put a hymen on it the way it is. The XJ's not like this. Maybe I need one of these on mine. What I really want is one of the electric disconnects on mine. I've seen some air disconnects that guys are using now. I actually asked on forums about using the JK selectable. Yeah, I was called stupid. But hey, I'm just thinking about things that you don't have to do when you go trail riding. Like airing down. I've yet to have to do that on my XJ. But I discussed with Tim, if we do onboard air, he's probably going to have a port on all 4 fender wells with the push lock fitting. Down to there. All 4 of them teed into a valve in the back that in order to air up, you just put your 4 hoses on, turn the compressor on, open the ball valve. If you want to air down, you hook all 4 hoses up, quick, easy push lock fittings, air down. You've got a gauge that reads tire pressure wherever your air compressor's at. Again, things I've never seen people do, but they talk about it. They make all kinds of kits. I'm an industrial guy. I'm going to make things simple for this guy. Push lock fitting up there, go down to the tire. I'm going to say with his 4-inch lift, say a 36-inch piece of hose, 4 36-inch pieces of hose with the fitting on one end, bam, you're done. Everything can be done. It's not quite a Humvee of self-airing, but it's close to the same that if you've got one tire that's low on air pressure, you've got a dummy plug in the other 3. You just plug in that one tire. But hey, this is things I think about. All right, I'm going to get off here. I got to start cutting and welding. Oh, yeah. They say like, subscribe, whatever. If you want to do that, do that. I don't know. My video's pretty choppy. Sorry, guys. It's my first video and I'm using a phone because my camcorder and my GoPros aren't here yet and all kinds of stuff. But soon we'll get better quality. Thanks. Franklin Fab Works out.